All right. What's going on, Silver Squad? RJ here from the Silver Site, along with Team Silver Site. And today we're going to be breaking down Amazon Prime's hit show, The Boys. I have here with me today Team Silver Site, Lou and Corey.
What's going on? What's going on, people? It's your boy Louis Pigs, gang. What's up?
Yeah.
And joining us today, we have two very special guests. We have Desiree from Movie Vibes with Desiree and Hero Harrison from Hero Harrison Talk.
What's going on?
Hey,
What's going on, guys?
nothing much.
What's up?
Man.
Yeah, happy Friday.
Happy Friday,
We made it, y'all. We made it. Another episode.
right?
Yup.
Man, I'm trying to do this for a minute. So welcome. Thank you guys very much for joining us on the show. So look forward to working with you guys more. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. We had a lot happen in just these short 3 episodes, man. I know we were talking backstage, and we know what kind of show this is, but what I liked about The Boys was it wasted no time reminding us exactly what kind of show we're watching. So I want to talk about the first opening scene where we see Black Noir going to kill the super terrorist Nakeem. So let's start with our guests. Let's start with Desiree. What did you think of just the gore, just the audacity, just the murder, the sheer, the boys are back. What did you think of how they started out?
Well, you know what? If anything, it made me think of, the boys are back in town. So,
Exactly.
with the gore and stuff, we should probably be used to that by now. But if anything, I think we'll be seeing a lot more than we did in season 1.
Yeah.
Black Noir is something else. And I think they're actually going in a different direction with him, but I'll probably share that a little later. But yeah, it was a lot of gore.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think, Harrison?
Man, I honestly think that that was messed up. Like what he did when he just went into that room and just, was trying to cheer up that kid, but then he was holding that severed head in front of him. It's like he's holding his little toy and stuff, trying to cheer him up like this. And then the kid's just standing there like, whoa, he don't know what to do. And he's gonna remember that for the rest of his life. So I don't know. I thought that was messed up, but I liked it though.
What a twisted
Exactly. I can say this man is traumatized. The
Yeah,
kid is traumatized, actually.
he would have to be after something like that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
you just minding your business, thinking about Power Rangers, and somebody comes in with like your uncle's head.
Oh my God.
Like what?
he carrying it around like a Gucci bag or something. He just carrying it around.
That's okay. You can just call me. I have a psychology.
Like, you could just pick it for a bag if it was that serious, man.
Right.
And my whole favorite part of that was when he he took his hands and just split his
That was like God of War reincarnated. Like that's crazy.
Exactly. Like when you're pushing the square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mad fast. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Showing
this
us.
whole thing open, man.
It was crazy just to see that scene, like when it got to the end and he got to the part with the dude, like where he ripped his head apart. It was like, whoa, like
Yeah.
like okay, let's watch some more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like what Desiree said, at this point, we really shouldn't be shocked by the boys, but I feel like they always find a way to kind of make us go like, damn.
Right.
Because I definitely wasn't expecting somebody to get their head
Oh, no.
ripped apart and then somebody get their head carried. Very good.
As an opening scene for a show, you really wouldn't expect that scene at all, really, like for the show to open with that. I don't think anybody was expecting that, really. And I think that's why it kind of shocked us as much as it did.
Yeah, the crazy thing about that too is like it wasn't even like 1 minute into the show when it happened.
Right.
And you're like this dude got his head just split. I'm like, whoa, all right, I'm sucked in now.
It was like, let me show y'all what we had happening last season, but here go next season. Slice.
Exactly.
Yep.
it was one of those things where I pushed play and I pulled my covers back, and before I got in the bed and got settled, 3 people were murdered. I'm like, damn, can I even adjust my pillow first?
You're not gonna be comfortable, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to move on to the deep. As we all know, last semester. It's live, y'all. Come on, get it together.
Oh, you good? You all good?
Man, last season we saw the deep kind of go through he got canceled in a sense, and rightfully so. I want to say it was Starlight, right, that he had sexually assaulted, and as a result, he was removed from the 7. And we kind of see him start out from where we left off last season with him being isolated. So his story arc this season is kind of weird because we kind of see him joining into a cult. I don't know, did you guys pick up on that right away that he was joining into a cult, or did it take you a while to be like, okay, this is kind of odd?
I think my impression, I didn't think of it when what's the archer's name? Eagle Claw, whatever his name is.
Eagle Archer, yeah.
Eagle Archer.
Eagle Archer. When he first popped into it, like I didn't think anything about a cult. But then once the therapist or whoever she's supposed to be, once she came into the picture, that's when I was like, they feeding them that Kool-Aid, man.
Yeah, the soda was Kool-Aid. The Fresca.
Fresca.
Every time they show up, they have Fresca.
Would you like a Fresca?
So I looked that up. I guess that's like a cult thing or something, to have a drink like that.
Like
yeah, something like that. It represents like tradition or something. Or I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense. It adds up because there was a point. I think when I first caught on was when she handed him that book. What was it called? The Book of the Shining Light or something like that. I have it here in my 20-page notes, but I'm not looking through all that. But when she handed him that literature, I think kind of when it clicked in my head that, yo, this dude is in the cult. They found him at his lowest point and recruited him, and that's kind of what, because I do watch a lot of cult documentaries and stuff like that, and so that's kind of what they do is they find you at your lowest point and kind of introduce the religion per se to you when you're at your most receptive because you have nothing else to lose. And he was kicked out of the 7. He lost everything. I don't know if you guys caught on to that part where he was taking a picture with the cardboard cutout, or they showed it and they had like cut him out completely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They cut him out completely. And I think that was kind of the final straw for him. And that's kind of when we saw him end up getting arrested. So how do you guys feel about his overall arc this season when it comes to his fall from grace per se?
I guess I could say a little bit. It's the deep as a character, his whole dynamic is super weird and hard to understand. Okay. Now, in the first season, like he's this womanizer, whatever he does with the women, he treats them like crap and dips out. We got an understanding of that when he, whipped his junk out in front of old girl. But like when he ran into chick that was sticking her hand in his heels, like that was mad weird. But in a sense, like that, all of that was coming back to him. So like in season 2,
are you talking about when he got finger banged?
Yeah. That was tough, and it was hard to take in at the same time because you're like really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He definitely got fingered. Yeah.
He got violated altogether. But if you think about it, it's kind of like, well, it's karma coming back around because look what he was doing with these women. Like you're gonna get yours eventually, and that's exactly what happened with that. So like his whole character development going into second season, it's kind of hard for me anyway to get a grasp on where he's going or what they're trying to do with it.
Okay. What about you, Harrison?
I think I'm just gonna keep it real. I think he's a dolphin murderer. I think that it's weird seeing him his transition from the first season to the second, because in the first, like you can tell he was just like, I don't really care about y'all. Like I'm just here to just be a superhero, and that's really about it, and talk to fish. And in his second season, I think that he's actually everything, like all his faults that he had in the first season, like you were saying, Lou, that's definitely like hitting him right now. Like he's feeling all that right now. And honestly, he deserves that, because you can't go around just whipping your thing out to women and just being like, hey, and like, especially those nasty gills you got going on, you gotta hide them.
Worry about that gill.
But see, but did you start tripping out when the Gills started talking to him?
Yes.
Yo, and he was sitting there and they were singing a song to him. Yo, I was laughing so hard.
I know what was going on.
And that goes back to what Desiree said. It's like, at this point, we shouldn't be shocked by it.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, what?
Yeah, it hits out of nowhere, and that's what I love about the show.
Yeah. Like, you never kind of know what to expect. You know something's gonna happen, you just don't know what. I do also want to touch on, I think I kind of glanced over it, Translucent's fake ass funeral. Clearly, that's not him there. On the wall.
Of course he's in there. He's invisible.
He's not in there. His butt
Of
is
course
in
he's in there.
somewhere. Like, come on, his sphincters are on a ceiling somewhere in the basement. Come on.
They even put the indenture in the body of the coffin. In there.
Exactly.
And that was
the amount of effort they put into this big lie of a funeral.
Hey, that was the
Homelander
best
gets an Oscar for that one though. Homelander gets
gotta be. No, Homelander deserves an Oscar for his performance.
This is like it was like, what do you call it? Inception. A dream.
Yeah.
Dream.
Yeah.
Dude. And then Starlight with that terrible like Christian rock. You are my light. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, if y'all don't get no Caesar up in there, like someone died.
Something. Dude, like the whole thing was corporate. The whole thing just felt very corporate and fake and staged.
That's what it's supposed to feel like, I guess. Like at the end of the day, if you're a PR person for that company, like you just hit PR gold. Like, how are they going to tell whether Translucent is in this coffin or not?
Exactly. Right. Yeah, he's right. No, I agree with you that, because the whole PR thing, especially with Edgar, it's like, I think he's not really focused on that, because he's more of like the head honcho. Like he has ways of trying to move the business part of things instead of care about the superhero parts. Because remember, if you heard what he said about Homelander, he said, "You're just a product. I don't care about you like that.
Yeah,
I got business to run." So I think that this PR thing is like, yeah, he like no one really is like caring about Translucent right now that much, unless it's the heroes. So
that's the thing. Vought is all about business, the look of things, and funny how Homelander used that platform to, get all of the heroes chasing after the supervillains in Syria and
the supervillains.
Trying to integrate himself into the military, and that's he didn't care about Translucent.
And the whole thing is fake. Belinda Wesley has a comment, and she said, "Who the hell was Starlight singing to?"
Oh,
yeah, the hand reached out like, "What are you doing?" And Takara W says, "For someone so real, Starlight was disappointing."
Yeah, what do you guys think about her comment? Like whenever she was like in interview with Homelander right there, and what she said before.
You about the fake interview about he's all wrong. And back to what Takara said, it was very disappointing because I feel like you pride yourself on being this, realistic, empowered person, and then you get on the camera in front of PR and you're fake.
And you're Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like, because we all know you hate Homelander. Who likes Homelander? Everybody's scared of him.
Homelander is absolute trash.
Yeah, I agree.
Homelander is shit. Homelander is not shit.
That has been my hashtag this whole week. Homelander is trash because he is a garbage human. Well, he's not a human. Is he human? Garbage.
Well,
superhero.
technically not, because he has the thing in him.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, Father of the Year award goes to Homelander for pushing his kid off the roof.
Right. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like, how you gonna just push your kid off the roof? Like who does that?
but who learned how to swim though, like that? Like who just got tossed in the pool?
Black
But
folks.
Corey, there's a difference between you pushing somebody in the water and
He-
being able to get
He had
out.
superpowers. He made it.
Right.
I was
The kid
surprised
was
when he
eating
got up. I
grass,
was like,
Corey.
oh my god. When he stood up, I was like, oh, he good.
And then the worst part was that he was standing there. He was like, "Oh, he'd be all right."
Like,
Yeah, like
Corey.
he couldn't jump down there and catch him.
But I think we all knew that he was gonna be all right because I mean, he does have those powers, but I mean, still for a second you're like, dang, because he landed hard, like face flat, like
Right.
in cartoons. You know, I was like, dang, he's passed out right now.
And
Like,
all right.
he was eating grass. Like, he literally went into the grass.
He was knocked out.
Face flat.
And it's the way the thud when he hit the ground, to me, I think that's what I kind of laughed when
I
he
did
hit
too.
the
But see, and then the thing that kind of took me after, like, while watching that episode, after he pushed him off the roof, right? And you know, his mom comes out, checks on him, all that other stuff, and then what got to me was that the kid got mad, so he pushed Homelander, pushed him down to the ground, and then you see his eyes start lighting up. So that kind of creates the opportunity for the show to be where now this kid ends up either hating Homelander or resenting him in some kind of way, and maybe he'll become a superhero, but he would be the kind that is kind of like Homelander. So if you get what I'm saying, like maybe he's trying to, in doing what he's doing, he's trying to turn the kid into another one of him.
Exactly. And
Okay.
to piggyback off that, I feel like what he's trying to do is he's saying to his child, like, you know, we're both gods. But the sub message of that is saying, I'm the daddy god, you the little god. So
Right.
therefore you do what I say.
Right.
I
And you
feel like
you
that.
kinda get-
No,
yeah,
definitely.
you kind of get that feeling with his interaction with his son is that, yeah, I'm trying to make you into this thing, but don't forget, I am the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Homeland is very scary. I don't know about you guys, but whenever somebody's like talking about Homelander or just in general, I always have this fear that he's going to come out of nowhere and just murder somebody at any time. And I don't know if that's just a feeling that I have because of the way he was portrayed, but Homelander to me is a scary thing. And I kind of feel for Becca because she has no choice but to play along because at the end of the day, what can you do?
Right.
You really
Right.
can't do anything.
Yeah. What's a human to a god?
Exactly. Nothing. Garbage. But
But
so
I mean, there's got to be a weakness for Homelander. I just
Oh,
feel like they haven't
it's funny before.
storyline yet, but I'm waiting on it.
I
I
think his son is going to kill him. I think that's what's going to happen. I think his son is going to get fed up with him. Either that or Stormfront, which we're about to get into in a minute.
Yeah, what do you think about Stormfront? Like,
Matter of fact,
Let's steal the
let's get on Stormfront ass. Let's talk about this chick right here.
just trying to
Okay.
steal the spotlight.
Yo, she came onto the scene pissing me off, but I liked her because she pissed Homelander off. So for
Yeah.
me, that was kind of my introduction to Starlight. Was like, okay, this may be somebody who I can kind of rock with to get Homelander. But as the episodes went on, I found I liked her less and less. If that makes any sense.
right.
So, what were your overall first impressions of Stormheart? Corey, what did you think of Stormheart? Stormfront.
Well, first of all, I think the whole series is in like the age of technology, so to speak. So I just think Stormfront is like one of the now people always on Snapchat, always on live, doing some stuff like that. So
Okay.
her following was out there more and like she could rally more people, seems like, than Homelander. And he was seeing that and he was getting a little bit jealous, you know?
That makes sense. Shayna says Homelander has a lot of self-control compared to Stormfront, which I agree with. I feel like I was about to say Home Runner. What is wrong with me? Homelander has a lot more self-control than Storm.
Stormfront trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that too.
Oh man.
What up, Sharonda? Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, Sharon.
She says Stormfront is trash. Yes, wholeheartedly agree.
Super trash. But I feel like I don't know if she's planning some kind of coup d'etat or what I'm trying to figure out is what her angle is.
Okay.
Because she came in making big waves, and yeah, she's like the social media junkie. She has her following and stuff like that. Like, I'm not quite sure if she's trying to take over Homelander's spot or just trying to take him out completely.
I think she maybe set Avant to take him out because they know he's out of control. Because remember, they knew he was the one who gave the compound V to the terrorists.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Desiree and Harrison?
Oh my God. I feel like it's so expected of Homelander to do something like that. The thing is that he thinks he can do whatever he wants and also get away with it. So I think that Stan Edgar has been keeping tabs on him. He's had enough. And I feel like he hired Stormfront simply to irritate Homelander and maybe even take him out.
That's a pretty.
But they are a lot similar to each other than, they think they're different from each other, I'm sure. But I'm seeing a lot of, they are very similar. So I'm curious to see what happens with that relationship.
I can
Blurred Up says Stormfront is definitely a plan. Edgar has been watching. I definitely can see that happening. I don't know if you guys noticed, and I know we're skipping around here, but this is the first show, whatever. It's flowing, so we're going to roll with it. Did you guys notice that Stormfront, when she got to the end and she was kind of going back and forth with Kamiko's brother, did you notice she was just killing the people?
Yes.
Now I have a theory that maybe she may be a racist.
Okay. Well, you know what? That
Hear me out, guys. Hear me out. She may be a racist.
I think she might be a racist.
You gonna say something, Corey? Sorry, I don't want to.
No, go ahead, man.
No, I wasn't saying anything.
So just to back up just a little bit. So first thing I want to say about Stormfront, when she came in, I was just really surprised how she had like this demeanor and she had like this nonchalant attitude. I'm like, girl, you need to chill out. You just got here. We don't even know your powers yet. And then you see her go along. I feel like you see her develop into this like asshole and racist, which that you agree with. I know you'll talk about that in a little bit, but it's just because I think she's willing to, like you said, irritate Homelander, because he's not really a threat to her. And I think that Edgar is trying to find a way to take him out. But honestly, I don't think Edgar is threatened by Homelander. Obviously, this is my theory too. Just to throw it out there, I think Edgar has powers.
Yes.
So,
yes. And I mean, come on. It's Giancarlo himself has powers. He isn't saved by nobody. But I do think that Stormfront is racist because if you look back at the comics, it does support that theory.
Stormfront
was actually a male in the comics.
He's like, hold on, let me.
I had that Raven like a.
Yeah, so Stormfront was a male in the comics. And if you look at the history of Stormfront, where he was from, how he was created, we know that Frederick Vought was, he discovered the Compound V and he was a German scientist, and that indeed is connected. He had connections with Hitler, and Hitler wanted to create another Superman, which was Stormfront, the male version of Stormfront, who was racist and saw himself superior to other races and ethnicities. Stormfront is based off of that character.
I knew it because it didn't make any sense for her to just attack the people. The
Slaughter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she had one target, which was Kenji, Kamiko's brother.
Yeah.
And then she looks at the other black folks and she's like, well, hell, while I'm here.
Yeah.
But
Real,
honestly, I don't think that was racially motivated. I just think that happened to be the family there at the time. Like she killed the father. Now she had no reason to kill the father. And then once she killed the father, I felt like she was kind of like, well, he's dead already, so why not kill the rest of them so that they don't say anything bad about me? But she does go throughout the building and starts blowing stuff up, destroying the building from inside. So you don't know what kind of families were in there.
Collateral damage.
Kenji too.
I mean, we know the ends. We saw them all at the Red Cross. They was all black.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
she literally called Kenji Yao before.
Yeah, she definitely did.
Yes, she did. Oh.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah, it's. I'm telling you, this whole season has been just wild from start to.
It's just been blow for blow, just the whole way through.
Can I just mention one funny part real quick? So I think it was a scene where Huey had the that ring that he has. It's not a promise ring. It's like I forgot what they were talking about in the show, but I think it was like some part where he had a ring, and then he throws it in the ocean as the helicopter's going down. Do y'all remember that part?
I remember.
Oh, you remember that part? I just thought it was just so funny because the thing with Huey is like he tries so hard to do good and he just fails every time.
All the time.
Yeah.
And where he said something that kind of resonated with me a little bit, it was funny because he said something to the effect of, I want to be like Harry Potter or the girl from the Hunger Games. Like, you don't think that they're awesome, but they're actually awesome. And it's like, but Huey, bro, you're not.
Y'all the Spice Girls, remember?
You're terrible. You're terrible at everything you do. Blurred Up did have a comment. He said they gave clues to her racism, though. Remember how she was admiring how blue Homelander's eyes were? She was appreciating his Aryan features.
Good point.
Deep. So deep. I'm telling you. It's like Lovecraft Country. You got to search for the gems.
I
there.
She's definitely racist. So I agree.
I've definitely racist. So we talked a good amount about the heroes, and we'll talk about them more. But let's talk about the title characters, the boys. They're going through it this season as well. I guess they're not on the run, but they're kind of in hiding because they've been accused of murdering the CIA deputy director? Stillwell.
Stillwell, yeah.
They're
accused. Stillwell was the CEO, was the lady that Homelander killed.
Yes, the CEO.
Okay. Okay. Yes. So Butcher's accused of killing her, right?
Yes.
Okay. So they're in hiding because of that whole situation, and they're at each other's throats. They're living in this dirty, rundown basement, and we have Huey who's trying to, I guess, get with help of Starlight, get her to expose Vought and Compound V. So what do you guys feel about their whole story arc this season with Kamiko and her brother, and the whole trying to expose super terrorism?
Well, I was personally kind of disappointed with Kamiko. I thought she was a little bit more powerful to take down Stormfront, but I guess not.
You sound disappointed. You sound very disappointed.
I thought she was going to rip her to shreds, personally. I mean, geez.
Yeah, how she was flowing in season 1, you thought she would be, a little more powerful in that.
Yeah,
but
I thought she was like a beast.
So I thought that too. Yeah.
It's kind of evident in season 1 that she's not that OP though.
Okay.
OP, by me saying OP, I mean overpowered. If anybody doesn't get it, but it the video game talk. But but in the first season, like you see traces of how weak she acts. Like, yeah, she can come back to life. She has this strength that she uses, but you can still see the weakness in her.
Okay.
So I really didn't expect her. Like, it was dope that, it's super dope that she can do all these things, but I still wasn't completely taken away by her powers and her abilities and what she can actually do.
Yeah. I definitely was expecting a little bit more for her, especially with her matchup with Stormfront, because when we saw her in season 1, like Corey said, she was a monster. She was tearing through everything. But then we also have to factor in she might have been a little feral because of, being trafficked. So she might have had that extra hunger in her to get out. So maybe that's why we saw that brutalness. So now that she's in a little bit more stable and safer environment, maybe that hunger and that rage is not as prominent as it once was. Takara says between her and her brother, I felt that it was not as brutal as Stormfront, or at least fending her off. You're right. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention is it was kind of sad to basically not see more of her brother. He kind of got killed off a little too quick. I think he was a really interesting character, just because of of how they were talking to each other in that fake sign language. I looked something up about that, and they do like a fake sign language to each other, or at least he understands what she's saying. So, but I wish we could explore his character a little bit more. And you don't see much of him in the comics as well, but still, he's an interesting character it would have been nice to see.
Yeah, he was actually made up specifically for the show. I think he wasn't in the comics. I might have to.
He was like they show like a flashback in the comics of like when that happened, but I don't think they showed him.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But their relationship and their story, like I love that, because she's the older sister, he's the little brother, which you kind of wouldn't think that at first. You would think that it was opposite.
Yeah.
But their story is interesting. How they were kidnapped by as children by the Shining Light Liberation, and I'm pretty sure we're going to explore that more as far as what happened, as far as the Shining Light Liberation. That sounds like a scam to me. Like a Christian scam of some sort.
I do like that, even with as hard as the boys are pictured to be, I like that they show each character's soft side.
Yes.
Like you got Butcher and his wife, you got Kimiko and her brother, you got Huey, and they're all emotionally, they're going through things, and each person has their own emotions, and you can kind of feel sympathetic for each person in that group and what they're going through.
Right.
I agree with that.
Yeah, they each showed their vulnerability.
That
Homelander too. With the
yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Homelander disgusts me, man.
Homelander is a walking, flying dumpster.
He definitely is. It's sort of like he's what. How can I put this one? He's kind of what. He's what America is.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's what America is. Unrealistic expectation.
He's pretty much he's the bad version of Captain America in Marvel Comics.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's like the face of like America, So.
And when I really started feeling like that was when they had that focus group, and they were saying it was 2 words. It was like terrorist versus villain, and America versus the world. And when everybody said, "Well, the world sounds better," he's like, "No, America."
No, America.
Yeah, he was like, no, I'm for America.
Talking about either the world, I was like, I mean, doesn't it mean the same?
Right.
Yeah, because he was saying like super terrorist or something like that, Edgar, and then Homelander was like super villain, and then Edgar looked at him and he was like, "Whatever, dog."
Right.
Why you gotta keep panties in a bunch?
Exactly. Homelander is, to me, is terrifying, and I don't know how we managed to go over this, but when Ashley made I guess made Homelander aware that she was trying to find somebody for the 7, and when he told her, "You don't decide who goes in the 7, I decide who goes in the 7,"
Yeah.
to me, I felt like if I was her, I would have just quit. I don't care what y'all pay me. I don't care what the benefits are. I don't care if we get every holiday off paid. I quit. I'm finding another job.
Who was that she brought to Homelander?
Blind Spot, the blind superhero.
Yeah, after that, you would have thought.
Do you think he was worthy enough for the 7?
But I think Chris Ray hit it earlier, or it might have been Harrison. Everything they do is it was Lou. Everything they do is from a PR standpoint. Everything they do is calculated.
Right.
So she's thinking like a VOT PR kind of person. And her goal is to make the 7 appeal to everybody. And how do you do that? By getting minorities, by getting females, by getting minority females, by getting disabled people.
Right.
And this really speaks to Homelander being America. We claim we want diversity, but when it comes down to it, you really want the diversity that you want. You want minimal diversity. You want maybe one black person, and everybody else has to be white. You know, so that's what that said to me, because there was nothing wrong with Blind Spot. You know, there was no reason why he couldn't have been in the 7. And then once again, in typical boys fashion, I'm sitting there minding my Christian business, watching my show, and then like, did you do that?
Oh my god!
Did you have to permanently ruin this man's hearing?
And the amount of blood. The amount of blood pouring from his. Oh my god!
Yeah,
he's dead.
That was definitely not necessary.
Yes, exactly. Daredevil would have made it.
Daredevil would have
knock off Daredevil.
Yeah. We were talking about that earlier backstage. And we were saying that Homelander would have Blind Spot, Daredevil would have felt the heart rate change and would have dodged that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, Homelander is a frightening man, and I think in that moment I really felt for Ashley, because you're somebody you're supposed to be, a team you're supposed to be managing. He literally just murdered somebody in front of your face and told you you're going to do exactly what he says. You're going to have to keep tabs on every single person in the office. What do? You're coming to the hard place.
Yeah, and to piggyback off what you just said. So one thing that I noticed is there's a power struggle going on between Homelander and Edgar. So I feel like that what Homelander's trying to do is put Edgar in his place to try to show him that, like, hey, I'm the boss, I'm in charge, I run the 7. And Edgar's like, that's cool, man. Like, you can run the 7, do what you want. But I'm running the business over here, like I was saying earlier. So I think that there's still a power struggle of what they're trying to figure out, but Edgar's not intimidated by Homelander just because of what he's doing. So, and I don't think he's gonna kill him. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I liked when he kind of corrected Homelander. He was like, "You think we're a superhero company? We're a pharmaceutical company. Like, we don't revolve around you."
Yep.
Surprise.
Bitch. Thought so.
Right.
The whole thing was just, he really put him in his place. And to me, I feel like that's probably the first time we've seen Homelander really humbled, because I think that's the first time he was really speechless, if I'm not mistaken. He really didn't have anything to say. Because after your boss, or after you find out from somebody that you're not as powerful as you think you are, there's nowhere to go from that. What do you say? You have no company.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
So also wanted to talk about Maeve's storyline, which I feel like could be have a little more depth to it. I feel like this is kind of just them trying to give her something to do. She has a girlfriend. I want to say her name was Elena, but they're broken up right now. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is in fear of Homelander.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all out of her trying to protect Homelander because she loves her. But now I think Homelander might have overheard them talking at the
He's
end.
Superman. He heard everybody.
You know,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
he might have heard something he wasn't supposed to.
So do they have a thing going on or something?
With who?
Maeve
and Maeve.
Maeve and
It's
Homelander?
weird to be that possessive of somebody you're not with.
Well, I think they mention it. I'm not sure if they mention it in the first season or maybe the first couple episodes of the second season, but they did mention that Maeve and Homelander, for PR purposes, were a couple.
The thing, yeah.
So maybe Homelander being as sick as Homelander is, maybe he just feels possessive over her because of that whole PR situation where they had to be this power couple or whatever they were doing.
Okay.
I agree.
I can see that. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I also want to touch on Huey and Starlight's quest to get Compound V and the whole blackmailing situation that we saw.
Ooh.
Okay, all right, let's start this off, man, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
All right, so all right, man. Number one, this is like the number one rule in just the street code of Black people: do not leave a message. Why are you leaving a message? That's access that somebody can have in the future that someone can listen to, and it's gonna affect the 7 or whatever, or your life, her life.
And it's incriminating.
And he's leaving a bunch of messages. It's not just one; it's a bunch of messages.
Messages.
Like voicemail. Like he's literally at that point with as many voicemails as he sent, he should have been playing like a love song in the background.
Well, you
Like
wonder
the
why
90s
this guy
voicemail?
keeps getting slapped upside the head by Mother's Milk and Butcher and everybody. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
And to piggyback over what you said, like the fact that this man literally picked up the phone and said, "You got the Compound V." What?
Right? Was that you?
He didn't know who it
Was that you? Like, come on, man.
Oh my
Give me
God.
something better. Like I'm literally like, give me something better than that. Was that you? Did
Oh
you
my
get
God.
Compound
You
V?
exposed VOTS Starlight when you got the Compound V Starlight?
Right. How
Look,
did you get it? What was the master plan?
He's an amateur.
The whole thing was bananas, man. Like,
The civilian, like
Amateur.
Craziness. But I think that's vital to his character because it keeps him almost innocent to what's actually going on around him. And I think that's why with his development, like it's starting to break him down so much.
Right.
Because he's seeing all these deaths and he's seeing how everything's working where he wasn't a part of that. He wasn't used to any of that. He was just on the outside, but now he's in and he's like seeing all types of craziness.
Exactly. A lot of things he's had to, he's done. He killed Translucent and the way he killed him. I mean, and then seeing his girlfriend get split in half. Yes, the way he killed him. That's a terrible way to go. Like that needs to be a closed coffin for sure.
I think I agree with what she said in the comment. He is a clown. I just that he's been through a lot. He needs to stick up for himself because he doesn't. I know you probably have a question about Butcher, but I won't spoil your question or anything at the moment. But I just think that Huey does need to step up and just stop always trying to be like, oh, I want to do the right thing. Like sometimes you got to break the rules, man. So
yeah.
So what do you think about him fighting back, like fighting back eventually against Butcher?
Oh.
that's not gonna go well.
Not against Butcher, no. But I'm
No.
glad.
Nah, I don't.
No,
I don't-
like you don't feel that he needed to do that. He needed to get that out of his system.
Yeah, but
Oh no, he
punched
did.
him.
No. Yeah, he did. I agree. He did.
He needed it, but it wasn't even a good punch. Like you punched the man and you fell.
He's Huey. Come on, man. He's Huey. he's Huey. Give him a break.
Yeah, it was you literally hit somebody with an off guard punch and you fell.
and he scored so hard.
Yeah, you know what? Y'all remember the episode of SpongeBob with the salty spittoon and SpongeBob? He was like, "Who threw that piece of paper at me?" That's what that was.
Oh my God.
Exactly what that was.
Oh my god.
But I think his character needed to do that, not only to strengthen the character's resolve within himself, but to strengthen his resolve in Butcher. Because Butcher he was to the point where he had no confidence in him at all. So I think him actually fighting him back solidified him in that team as part of that team in Butcher's eyes.
Right.
Oh, okay. That's a really good point. That's a really I never thought about that. Because none of them are scared of each other, you know? Like they all stand up for themselves. They talk back at each other, they curse each other out. But Huey is always the one that folds. He's always the one that loses the argument. And I felt like Corey said, I think he did need to kind of man up and show him like, yo, like you're not about to punk me.
Right.
It didn't happen. Took forever, man. Took forever.
I don't want to spoil anything. But I think that just I think what Huey does is that he tries. There's like a seesaw between him and Butcher. Because what the seesaw is doing is basically saying Butcher's like, no, we're gonna go do this. We got to do some bad, and then Huey's like, no, we got to do some good. Like I'm pulling you back, but then he's pulling him forward. So it's kind of going like this with that relationship. So
It's sort of like what Mother's Milk said. He was like, Huey's your canary. He keeps you from going too far. And I didn't see that dynamic until you said it like that. It's sort of like a push and pull relationship with them. Huey doesn't go far enough, whereas Butcher goes too far.
Exactly. And yeah, because Huey prevents Butcher from going too far sometimes. Because I think, like you said, he's the canary, and that canary's in his ear. Because in this, I don't know if y'all feel like this, but in this season, Huey feels like a conscience. He doesn't really feel like an interesting character or somebody that we are like, oh, like, hey, he's interesting. I want to find out more about him. He's kind of a background character.
So on that note, I was about to ask that. So on that note, I was piggybacking off of Kiki and Lisa. Should Huey have been left in the well?
Let's talk about that, man. So they end up crashing the police helicopter, so they have to make it to the tunnels to get to the safe house. On the way to the safe house, the Deep apparently decides to redeem himself. And
Oh my god.
This poor whale. Poor whale.
Lucy.
Rolls himself in front of the tunnel.
Yeah. Can I just say something, man?
Yeah.
I think that when
we can play a clip. We can't play a clip. Oh my god.
I ain't gonna lie, I was dying laughing when I saw when Black Noir when Black Noir pulled up in the 7, Black Noir put his hand on the whale. It was like
No, the part that got me was when he rolled the whale to the coast, right?
Like it was a brick wall. Like it was a brick wall. Like it was impenetrable. He was just so proud. I have arrived. After that.
The level of confidence that man had in that pose. Like I'm back into the 7 with this shit.
Or even when he was riding Lucy and he happens to like look over at them.
I do believe in his defense, if he would have brought maybe 4 killer whales, maybe a couple sharks, he could have made it.
You had the
No,
wrong. You had the
he just
wrong
brings him.
Throw a fish at somebody. Don't get mad, man. Like he could have literally just picked up a fish and threw it at them or something. Like don't just stand
Yeah.
O's. Like,
Those
oh,
fish are
this is supposed to make me stop what I'm doing.
oh my god.
Come on.
And the other funny part about that too is when the whale died. When Huey was in the whale, Mother's Milk comes in, and then they're just having a conversation, and he's like, hey, I'm not going if you going, and then he's just sitting in there. They're both sitting inside a whale with the guts out and the heart still pumping.
Right there.
Yeah, and then he's like, asshole, and then he gets up and walks out.
Now it's funny because when the boat crashed into Lucy, I hate that the whale has a name.
He has a name, right?
Right.
The dolphin had a name.
Makes it worse.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, when the boat crashed into Lucy and then Huey, he was traumatized and he just sat there in the whale. He chose to sit there for a while. It was kind of reminiscent of the story of Pinocchio, when he was in the whale, just kind of like in the whale. I think he was in a whale, the belly of a whale or whatever. Just that realization of, man, am I a real boy or what? Like, he's just kind of like, am I cut out for this life? Let me just sit in this whale for a minute. And I like how Mother's Milk, I like the relationship between Mother's Milk and Huey. I feel like it's almost like a big brother relationship. Now it seems like the team is sticking more towards Huey than they are with Butcher. And Mother's Milk is letting Butcher know, like, you're wrong. Like, give this kid a chance. He has a few wins. Yeah, he fucks. Yeah, he messes up every now and then, but I'm not gonna. No, I'm not cursing. You're not gonna.
To me, I just think that MM is the glue to that group.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I feel like if he wasn't present in that group, that the whole group would go to shit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because I don't think French. Okay, because Mother's Milk can definitely talk some truth into Butcher, but I don't think Frenchie can do that.
No, Frenchie can't.
No.
No.
What does Frenchie do again? What's his thing? He just has the criminal connects, right?
Yeah.
Frenchie's just the connects to the criminals, right? Like, what does he do?
He's everything.
Frenchie don't. Hey.
He made the bomb. He made the bomb.
Boy, Frenchie, because my man Frenchie be out there doing it though.
I mean, he made the bomb.
Everybody needs a friend like Frenchie.
I mean, he making ass bombs. So and
he's got some good connections. He's got some. I mean, they're underground, hiding out. Like, if it wasn't for Frenchie, they'd be out there. They'd be hot by now. And he's hanging with the Clarkson Avenue Haitian Kings. Like, he's
right.
Okay, all right. I guess maybe I need to go back and watch season 1 to see what Frenchie exactly does, but. I don't. He's probably like my least favorite member. Next to, I really don't like.
The government still doesn't know who Frenchie is. Like, just think about that. Since season 2, they still don't know who he is. They're like, and this guy, like they just got a picture of him.
No idea who he is, but here he is.
Yeah,
and this guy was seen around them.
Right.
Part of it, he was just there.
He needs more of a character development. I think they need to work on
he does. He needs. Awesome. I was hoping. Well, I mean, I keep acting like the season is over. I'm so used to bench and being done, but I'm hoping that we see more of him and Kamiko's kind of story. I want to know how they're going to learn to communicate now because she doesn't know any English. She doesn't even know ASL. So even if he learns sign language, it's not the same because she doesn't. Her sign language is made up. I think she went like this one time. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know ASL, but I know that's not no damn sign.
She was doing a summoning jutsu.
But no, like Frenchie knows sign language, and he noticed that it wasn't sign language, and he was asking her brother to teach him. But since that didn't happen, I guess we will see character development on him trying to get closer to her and whatnot. So
I think the character development in both those characters are going to take place with them together. Like their characters are both going to develop at the same time with each other.
Right, so they're building to that point.
Right.
Okay.
That makes sense. I definitely could see that happening. I'm looking forward to that character development with both of them at the same time because I wanted them to work. I was really hoping that the brother would stick around a little longer and kind of help them learn to communicate with each other, but was not meant to be apparently. So let's jump
Got
to
a workbook.
we'll get there. Yeah. So let's jump to the whole tunnel scene with Starlight because we're almost at an hour, so we'll run through this and wrap this up. So we're in the tunnel now, and home runner. What is wrong with bro? Our Homestar. What's his name, y'all? What's his name?
Homelander.
Asshole.
Homelander.
Damn.
Damn.
I know what you're talking about though. Homestar Runner. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so all right, so you with me? Homestar.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. You ain't the only one. I got
Okay,
you.
good. I know I'm not alone.
Yeah, I got you.
Homelander orders Starlight to kill Huey. So as she's about to kill him, Benji, I think his name is Benji, Kenji, whatever his name is, brings
Yeah.
a whole fucking sidewalk or whatever down onto Homelander. And for me, we touched on this earlier. This is why I feel like there should have been a little bit more of a fight before he was murdered by Stormfront.
Mhm.
So my question is, why do you think that? Do you think there's a purpose in him being killed so quickly? Is it just to show how powerful Storm Chaser? Damn, what the hell is her name? Stormfront is.
I'm gonna need you to write that down.
Look, I got all of these notes, and it's too much.
Right. You just need one whole page that says Stormfront.
What if it's Homefront?
Is it Stormlight or Stormfront or Starlight or Stormfront?
Stormlight, Starlight, Starbright, Rainbow Bright. I don't know.
Is it Stormlight or Starfront?
I'm gonna get some index card next for next show, y'all. I swear, I promise y'all. But do you feel like Stormfront is just powerful, or do you feel like Kamiko's brother just wasn't that powerful?
I don't think it had anything to do with how powerful he was. I just don't think that he was a central character. A central character important to the whole story in general.
Okay.
Right. I think he wasn't meant to last long. They didn't have the intentions of, even if they did, I feel like there's only so much time that they have for the show.
Okay.
Otherwise they would have to, if they wanted to put in more of a fight, we would have to eliminate some of the scenes,
Okay. So you think he was never meant to be a true challenger?
Anyways, no, he wasn't powerful. His power was limited to grabbing other objects. He couldn't grab people or anything. What is that?
Yeah, I agree. I challenge that too.
His powers were limited. He was meant to die.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he's meant to die. Eventually, it was going to come to an end in this season or another season. So, yeah.
So I want to talk about how brutal, like I said, it's the boys, that the final kill of the third episode when she broke my man's hands off, broke this man's wrist, and then choked this man, wanted to see the light go out his eyes and called him what she called him, and then snapped his neck. Rapist.
Now that's pure evil.
Right. Talk about open your eyes. I need to see.
Right.
I think I'll close my eyes tight just to spite her.
I think that's a problem. That's a problem for Homelander. Stormfront's a problem for Homelander.
Oh yeah, definitely. But who wants to see the light go out of somebody's eyes? A really dark person. And I think that she is that. She is no hero.
Right.
And guess what? I mean, she's gonna sleep good. She's not gonna do this. That's the scary part about it.
She's gonna sleep like a baby.
What is wrong with you, girl? But her breaking Kenji's hands is very reminiscent of what he was, telling his sister when they were kidnapped, how they broke his hands. So that being his last, her seeing that has to be traumatizing. And I think that meant something in that moment.
That's dark.
Yeah, that's very dark.
I feel like it was worse because it's one thing for him to be killed after all they've been through, him and his sister, for her to fight so hard for for him, and then had to have her try that hard and him still be brutally murdered in front of you, there's literally nothing you can do. I feel like that to me was the most heartbreaking part of that murder, was the fact that it was done in front of his sister.
Yeah.
That could be something that could be used to kind of build up Kimiko's powers or her just character development in total.
Yeah.
Like when they were when Stormfront was actually doing an interview or whatever on the TV, like that icy stare at the TV is like, I'm gonna hunt you down and I'm gonna shoot your throat from the inside. You know what I'm saying? Like
that was in my notes. Yeah.
And you know what's the dark part about all this is that I think that, like you were saying earlier, how Homelander has some restraint to him. I think that Stormfront just doesn't care. Yeah. So I don't think she cares about killing innocent people. Just even if it's on camera, I don't think she cares. So.
Yeah, and that goes back to the history of Stormfront.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think she's the kind of character that, like how we said, Huey is the Butcher's canary. I don't think there's anybody who could possibly be her canary. She doesn't care. I feel like someone would tell her that it's not the right thing to do, and she would just probably murder them.
I liked her in the beginning. For some reason, like I felt like she was completely opposite of Starlight, But then, when she started opening her mouth a bit more and being too smart, and I'm like, I don't know if I like you. And then by the end of episode 3, I was like, okay, so I definitely don't like you.
Yeah, exactly.
She's very
Let me get my Storm on.
She's very smart.
We're going head to head.
Got to.
Can I just say one last thing?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this earlier, going back to the Deep. I think he put himself in a bad position with that whale, killing that whale, because in my opinion, like anytime, like I think he can talk to fish and stuff. So I think now he's ruined that relationship with these fish and the animals in the sea, in the ocean, because now anytime, like, if the Deep asks a fish for a favor, the fish are going to be like, we sorry what you did to our whale friend. Get off, like.
Oh man.
He should have known that Butcher was gonna do that. Butcher stops at nothing to get what he wants. He sped
nothing.
That.
He saw what he did to translucent.
Right.
He tried to run through translucent.
All right, so we're at the hour mark right now. So I guess since we're starting to wrap it up now, let's get each and every person's last and final thoughts on what they think is coming in the near future for each episode, or what you expect from these coming episodes. Let's start with you, Desiree. You look like you got something to say.
Oh, I was thinking. I think that we could look forward to.
Fish are gonna strike.
The fish are gonna strike.
I think we could look forward to Kimiko's character developing. I think now that she's a lot more angrier, like we'll see her kind of building herself up. Maybe she will, learn a bit of English here and there. I don't know. Either way, I still really like her. I hope to see her grow. And I hope that we get some interesting things with Huey, because I don't know what they're doing with him right now. He's just the annoying guy.
Gotcha.
And I hope somebody goes head to head with Stormfront. And I also hope that Stan Edgar finds a way to take out Homelander.
Hero?
Things I want to see in the upcoming future is I definitely want to see Stormfront get put in check by somebody. I want to see Homelander stop drinking nasty breast milk.
Hey, breast milk's not nasty.
What? You want to share?
You'll see Desiree's eyes get all wide.
I'm just saying. Never mind.
Well, I mean, the way he obsessed with it made it look nasty as well.
His obsession, yes.
Yeah.
In the mouth, yeah.
Yeah, but I think I like this season. It started off with a big bang, and I can't wait to see Kimiko's revenge. So I think that's gonna happen.
Cool. Word. I agree with that. Corey?
Oh, I'm all down for the action. I can't wait to see what happened to Homelander. Can't wait to see what happened to Stormfront. They need to get their just rewards. And I hope Edgar has powers, and because he just seems so unfazed by Homelander's threats, like blatant
Right.
threats. And I'm like, bruh, like what are you not telling us? Like what's your trump card? So I'm gonna wait and see that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Word. RJ?
I think what's gonna happen is you gotta think when you piss off too many people, eventually that's gonna come back to get you. So I feel like they're gonna suit up, they're gonna throw on them Timbs, and they're gonna stomp Homelander out. That's what I feel like was gonna happen. I feel like he's pissed off Maeve. He's isolated the Deep. I feel the only person who's not pissed off on Homelander is Black Noir, but he's ticked off everybody else. So I feel like he's gonna do something to set it over the edge, and then they're gonna team up and get rid of Homelander with Stormfront probably leading the way, and then the same thing's gonna happen to her. She's gonna get too out of control, and they're gonna have to take her out too. Those are my final thoughts.
Word. Yeah. So just piggybacking a little bit off that, I feel like basically Stormfront was put there to antagonize the antagonizer. I think that Edgar has something very special up his sleeve because he's way too smug for Homelander to be as powerful as everybody says he is, and from what we've seen he is. He's way too smug with how his interactions with Homelander. Like he knows something or some way to take him down. So I expect to see something to that effect towards the end of the season, as well as character development with Kimiko and Frenchie together. Because like I said, I pointed out earlier, I feel like their character development is going to come together. Well, together, it's going to develop together. But let's see, we're about to get up out of here. But Hero and Desiree, do you want to like plug in where can we find you as far as like social media? What do you got coming up?
Oh, that's pretty easy because I'm just on Instagram, guys. Movie Vibes with Desiree. And as far as something interesting coming up, I do have a movie that's coming out to theaters worldwide. Can't necessarily share just yet, like the title. But as you know, the days, as we get closer, I'll let you guys know the title. And yeah, for those of you who are willing to go out to the theaters, that'd be great.
Hero?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Hero Harrison Talk. I don't really have too much coming up. I just dropped the podcast today. We'll be dropping a DC Fandom podcast probably sometime tomorrow. I play semi-pro basketball, so you can follow my other pages if you want to. I'm going to Vegas pretty soon in this next couple of months, and then next year I plan on going to Greece. So.
Word, that's what's up. That's all the way what's up.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Word. Well, I appreciate we all appreciate you guys being here with us. Everybody that's been kicking it with us on the live stream tonight. I've been trying to keep track of the number and how many we have had come through our stream. I think our high points on the live stream tonight. So that's always a good thing. You can catch Team Silverside across all social media platforms. Facebook at the Silver Site, Instagram at the Silver Site. Yeah, we just appreciate everybody kicking it with us.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys.
Yes, thank you. Shout out to Shayna. Pay your way.
Sharon from Pay Your Way. Yes, thank you for the inspiration, all that, and the connections, and your advice. We really appreciate you helping us out and always supporting. So with that being said, make sure you guys subscribe to Movie Vibes with Desiree on YouTube, and make sure you follow Hero Harrison Talk on Instagram. God, I need a drink. With that being said, hope you guys have a great evening. Desiree and Harrison hang around after the broadcast ends. We're just gonna, wrap it up and talk with you guys a little bit. All right, guys, later days.
All right.
Gang, squad.
Squad.
Yeah.